testing.
I think we're good. Hi, everybody. I'm Jeff Gluck from SBNation.com. Welcome to the AMP Chat. This is Mike Davis, and we've made a big first step here, Mike. We've successfully not knocked over the set while sitting down.
It was close.
It was close, and that's a big accomplishment for us. So now we'll be able to start in a minute here, but just to remind you guys first, AmpUp88.com. I know you go there a lot, probably. It's the place where Junior Nation amps up for the race every week, and you know, there's daily sweeps for a Dale Jr. autographed item, and I'll bet that you've probably said to Junior, autograph some of these. These are for the AMP Up site.
Megan Hughes will be glad to know that he just went into the autograph room today and wiped out a bunch of them.
Really?
Today.
Okay.
Yeah.
What kind of stuff?
Oh, man, we fill up a room with die-cast, hats, shirts, a little bit of everything.
All right.
And sometimes it's a little hard to get him in there because of our schedule. Today, knocked it out.
All right. Well, so those are on there, and they give one of those away every day. There's also the Off the Track video series where this week Chris Fasulka, did I say that right?
Yep.
Gasman, he's talking about his job, and then you can follow Spotter TJ Majors on there. I know you.
I mean, I can't imagine doing anything else than following TJ Majors.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
I mean, and my day doesn't start until I see what he's doing. So.
Right. What happens if he doesn't tweet in the morning? How do you get going?
I don't wake up. I just stay in bed all day.
Yeah, just kind of depressing.
Yeah.
Next week, we'll be chatting live with Kip Wolfmeyer, who's the rear tire changer for the 88 team. That's at 12:30, back to the regular time on Wednesday, June 9th. But right now, we're here with Mike Davis, as you can see, and you can already see a little bit of his sense of humor. Before we get to their question, Mike, for the people that don't get to chat with you every week, could you maybe explain how you became PR man for Dale Jr.? Like, what's your background? How did you get to this point?
Well, I was a journalism major in college. Was planning on just working at newspapers and doing that thing, and I enjoyed it. That's what I was doing. But it became easier to put myself through school by not working for a newspaper, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm going at here?
Uh-huh.
And so I was like, I went and worked for the media relations department and the PR kind of side of it, and I ended up getting a job at a motorsports agency out of college, and worked with Jimmy Spencer. It was my first driver a couple years. Got hired at a company called Fingerprint Incorporated, which is how I got in with Dale Jr., and did that for 3 years, and then went to Junior Motorsports. So it was kind of just a lucky streak there that I was able to get into some positions there, and it all worked out. So.
Well, you're with Junior a lot, and so Junior Nation's hoping you can tell some stories here. For instance, Dale Jr. Fan 50 is wondering, what is something that you're always reminding Dale Jr. to do?
That's a great question. We are putting these cans of AMP in his hands quite a bit, and make sure, that was something at first. It was something we weren't really used to, because our previous sponsor, you don't get out of a car and just take a big gulp.
I guess so, right?
Or before you get in a car.
Yeah.
And so that actually was a whole change thing, and we were like, don't forget to take a drink, or that kind of deal, and it took him a while. But something I'm always reminding him to do, just I know before we do commercial shoots and photo shoots, the people's like, just make sure he's in a good mood, and I'm like, well, I don't know how to do that.
You can press the magic button.
Dance when I get up there in the morning. I don't know, but it's he's been around long enough. He's got it all figured out a lot better than I do. So.
All right. Well, you get to do some cool things, and you tweet about them. You have your own big following on Twitter now, almost 5,000 people, I think.
Like cousins and aunts and uncles.
Right.
Like,
you have that many?
Big following. Yeah.
I said about as many as you, really? I mean, yeah.
You laughed us.
Whatever. Anyway, you get to do cooler things than I do. Like JK1 is asking, did you attend the CMAs with Dale Jr. earlier this year, and did you meet anyone interesting there?
It's a great question. I did go to the CMAs. It was, that was a lot of fun. And Junior and I both were talking about how we wish we could have actually enjoyed it more, but I think he was nervous about his presentation speech. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of people in there, and I was nervous just because I knew he was nervous, and But we met a lot of people. But the one that really stuck out I can't tell you for the life of me why this was, but we were in the green room and Chris Christopherson came in, and he's just such an old school. He was wearing just some old dirty boots, and we were just taken aback by him. And it wasn't like I'm a Chris Christopherson fan, but talking to him was really cool. And he's just kind of how we thought he would be, and because he told a guy right before he walked out for his rehearsal, somebody said, "Hey man, go have fun out there," and he said, "Don't tell me what to do." And we were like, "That's awesome! Yes." I don't even know why that's awesome. That just seemed awesome.
Yeah,
and
that is cool.
Junior and I talked about that for like an hour, and so that kind of took the edge off of it. And then he went out there, and it was fun. CMAs was really cool.
So has Junior ever said anything like that to you?
Don't tell me what to do.
Yeah.
All the time. No. Yeah.
Well, here's a question from Kelly Earnhardt. Actually, she submitted one, and she would like to know, what have you found to be the best way to get Dale up in the morning?
I don't know that I have found a good way to do that yet. But,
That's a big challenge, I guess?
No, it's gosh, he gets up good most of the time. Kelly knows. She's being funny right now because she knows that's a good question for me. But that used to be a chore, years ago.
Okay.
And now it's not so much. But sometimes I tell you this. However hard it is for me to get him up, it's twice as hard for my wife to get me up.
Really?
To get him up. So it's like, because it's somebody's got to get me up at 5 in the morning if we're going somewhere at 6. So
is that because you don't sleep very well because you have baby girl or young?
The baby girl and the Xbox probably.
Yeah.
Kind of the same thing. Keeps me up at night.
Well, we'll take another celebrity question here from one of your Xbox playing partners. TJ Majors would like to know, have you had any memorable moments driving rental cars this year, possibly at Bristol? It sounds like an inside story.
I think
here.
he told you the story already, didn't he?
Well,
yeah.
Maybe.
Let me tell you something about
Okay.
TJ before we answer any of those questions.
And you have the mic now.
TJ,
He can't answer back.
I
so
know it.
This is
a beautiful thing. TJ is not really allowed to ask me that question because he doesn't ever drive himself. He's a great passenger seat. He rides.
Okay.
And I'm always driving, and I don't know how I always end up that way. So he's got to take a few turns driving before he can dish it out.
All right.
But he does have an incident that he's talking about, but nobody wants to hear about that.
You're not going to go? You're not going to?
I pulled the wrong way on a ramp, and didn't realize it. And I was bragging because I was like, we're always
What kind of
acting
ramp?
The exit ramp.
Like a highway?
Yeah, a highway.
Like a legit interstate?
We're always acting like we're race car drivers, even when we're, that's what PR people are. We like racers, we like racing, but we're no good at it. So we take our rental cars and act like we're good at it and live this fantasy. And I got TJ in the car with me, so I'm driving and I'm on the the rumple strips and stuff, and I'm like, look at me wheel it and all that stuff. And he's like, you're going the wrong way, dude. Just shut up, turn around. So he's never going to let me live that down either.
Fortunately, no cars ran into you head first, I guess, apparently, since you're still
they
here.
They couldn't catch me.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Can you talk about Caspian 10 would like to know, well, I guess, what the hell you do? What exactly do you do as your day-to-day responsibilities?
Great question. I've kind of got a two-pronged job, I guess. The Dale Jr. road managerial type, which is what most people see me as. I'm on the road, but I'm also the communications director at Junior Motorsports, and that kind of is a separate deal that, handling the press release distribution and the drivers, and we've had a few this year, and and just that whole thing. So I kind of run a department at Junior Motorsports, but I'm also on the road with Dale Jr. and that whole deal. So I have to rely on a couple people pretty heavily back at the office. I got some good people. Heath White is a PR guy that works there at Junior Motorsports, and he's definitely a self-starter. It's a good thing because I'm not there a whole lot.
Yeah. Amanda 101690 is wondering.
That's good numbers there.
Yeah, that's a lot of numbers, Amanda. That was hard for me to read. Have you and Junior ever gotten into a fight and not talked for a couple days?
No, we definitely have gotten in fights, but we get, we could, not a fight, we just get into a couple arguments every now and then, but it just seems normal, and sometimes it's kind of therapeutic.
Yeah.
I mean, but no, it's over like that. I mean, it's got to be. We got too much stuff to do, and if me and him have a disagreement, and I don't ever think it's such a bad thing. It's kind of like a brotherly thing,
Mm-hmm.
But it's done with, and we just move on.
Well, along those same lines, Joni Shatuk is wondering, when Dale has a bad day and is venting, do you say anything, or do you just ride it out and say nothing?
Boy, that's a great question. No, I think, if I may be all serious for a second, it's important if there's a bad day at the track or something like that. I'm always concerned that his confidence level, if it ever wavers, it's always important that he always keeps his confidence. And so if we can ever be encouraging, usually TJ and I are the ones that, because we all ride together after the race, and if there's a race and we're all talking about the race, TJ's got a great view of it from up top the track, and we'll sit there and talk about it, and but it's usually just kind of an encouragement type of thing. I've in this sport, Dale knows it, I know it. You've been around so long, you take the good with the good and the bad with the bad. You don't let it completely ruin your day and your life. It's because there's always next week.
Mm-hmm.
And so if there's been a bad day and Dale Jr.'s had a bad day, it's important that we just put it in the past as soon as we can, and so by the time we get to the airport or wherever we're going, we're probably past it, and so.
Well, that kind of leads me to this question, and this is probably something that everybody wants to know about lately. Andy Amp 88's wondering if you have any inside scoop on the chemistry relationship between Dale Jr. and Lance. The media, he says, makes it look bad. I don't know about that.
Why would he say something like
I don't know. But you know what I'm saying, though? I mean, you hear him going back and forth, and like you're talking about, apparently he gets over things pretty quickly. So what is the real deal there, I guess?
Well, when people, just people, I'm not
all right,
anybody,
not me, not the media.
Asked
okay.
a question
all right.
about the a specific radio chatter or something, my first thing that always comes to my mind is like, do they not have any brothers or sisters? Because it doesn't really seem that abnormal to me. Not that me and my brothers and sisters are always fought and stuff, but it's just like, it's kind of a brotherly type of thing, brotherly love. And I like it when Dale Jr. and Lance get to communicating so much to a point that they may be going back and forth a little bit, because the alternative is that neither one of them are talking. And that's far worse than them getting all their stuff out on the table right there. And also, I've listened to a lot of radios, a lot of drivers, and I don't see anything different going on anywhere else. So I think the chemistry's fine. Lance and that team, gosh, they are working their tails off, and Dale knows it, and Dale's doing everything he can. I think the chemistry's fine, and I think when they, if they have a discussion, Junior actually, who knows, we're not in the driver's seat, but Junior insists that a lot of times when he's yelling, it's just because he's in a race car and there's an engine and he's trying to yell over the engine.
Oh yeah.
So, but how do we know? I've never been. My rental car, I have no problems talking over the engine.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Let's see. Southern Charm 88 would like to know, what is the craziest / funniest / weirdest thing you've seen since working for Junior? I suppose you probably see a lot of weird things.
Well, yeah.
Just when it
probably
comes to fans and stuff.
Yes, I have seen some weirdness there. I think I tell you, to this day, the funniest thing to me. Did you cover the 2004 Daytona 500?
No.
You didn't?
No, my first race was the next week.
Really?
Yep.
Wow. The 2004 Daytona 500 was my first race with Dale Jr., and he won it, and it was amazing. But the funniest thing was when we were in the press box, and we were in the press box doing the typical post-race press conference, and then somebody comes over to him and hands him a cell phone, and everybody hushed. Nobody was asking questions because they knew it was the president of the United States. But he gets the phone, and he might as well have been talking to the local barber because it was like you could only hear Dale's side of it, right? He's like, "Hey, thank you, cool, all right, man, take her easy." And we were like, "What? That was the president, man!"
That's pretty cool.
And I thought that was the funniest thing. And I remember hearing the replay of it. I think Claire B. Lang had it recorded, and she gave it to us. And it was just as funny hearing it the second time. It was like, that was the leader of the free world, man, and it might as well have just been a buddy of his down the road.
That's pretty cool.
Which is I guess an admirable quality for Dale Jr. that he doesn't really differentiate between the president and all of us.
Right. Well, if you can believe it, we're already halfway through our chat.
It's flying by.
Yeah, it's flying by. So just a reminder, you're on ampup88.com, which is where you come up to amp up before the race every week. And this is Mike Davis. And if you want to ask Mike more questions, put them in the queue now, and we'll try to get to them before we run out of time here. And let's see. This is an interesting one. Jeb21 would like to know, if you could change one thing about NASCAR, what would it be?
That's an easy one. I've said this to a couple people, but I would make it where every driver had the capability of talking to each other during a race. Kind of like a CB radio.
That'd be
maybe just under caution.
Yeah.
How cool would that be? And we could all hear it.
Right, totally. That'd be incredible.
It doesn't even have to be like out of anger. It could like just be, Dale dialing up Elliott Sadler and say, "What you doing tomorrow?" During a caution or something. I mean, I think they need to have the capability, rather than Dale tell TJ to tell the spotter of some other driver, just cut out the middle, man, and just let them talk it out.
That would be great.
I'm
Plus,
the communications director. I'm trying to find ways to communicate.
That's beautiful. I mean, the thing is too, you could hear trash talk, you could hear jokes, you could the whole personality.
Cool would that have been at the All-Star race? Just think about it.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I mean, just
I would do.
Yeah, I can think of a zillion examples.
They should also have their own like CV names.
What would juniors be?
Juniors would be something like bearded. I don't know. The bearded one.
Here's a very important question for you from Riley Mears. You ever talk to her on Twitter? She's on Twitter a lot. Yeah,
she's cool. Yeah.
She would like to know, how do you do your job and watch Alabama football at the same time?
It's easy because one has to take a back seat to the other, so Alabama obviously takes priority over everything, right?
There you go.
No, it's well, the football games are on Saturday, and usually Dale's up there. If he's in his motorhome, he's up there watching the race, and I'm in the back in his bedroom watching the football game. And during commercials, I'll go up and see how we're doing in the race. So.
Yeah, so you do have your priorities.
That is really how we do it.
All right. So Junior Motorsports, as you mentioned earlier, has had a few different drivers this year.
We've had a couple.
A couple different drivers. ERV Mary would like to know, will Wimmer, Steve Arpin, or Landon drive for JRM anymore? And how worried are you about the number 7 car points?
Not worried about the 7 car points, and yes, and yes, probably for the other 3 drivers, the drivers you mentioned. The deal with Junior Motorsports and the driver situation this year has been the most unreal. You and I have had this discussion. The most ridiculous, crazy, but fun year we've had at Junior Motorsports. We are basically having a gong show to try to find out who's going to be our next driver of the 88. And the one thing about Junior Motorsports, and I love it about this company, is there's no ambiguity on what we expect from the driver. They pretty much just want you to drive it up to the front.
Uh-huh.
And if you can't drive it up to the front, they need to find somebody that can, and they really just, Tony Eury Sr. has never been one to kind of leave a gray area out there. So, we're trying to find, that next driver. We've put in a few already, and they're all getting. It's too early to tell, who's going to do what. But that 7 car is. I think it's 28th in points or 29th in points. So I think I'm not worried about that. And I'm looking forward to Danica getting back too. She's so much fun. I mean, we have such a good time with her. So we still got a lot of good stuff happening.
Well, Dances with Kat, who by the way is a regular on here every week, and I just met her at the Tweet Up. Yeah, I just met her at the Tweet Up last week too.
The Tweet Up here?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right
No, at
the
Charlotte.
Speedway?
Yeah.
I
Mm-hmm.
gotcha.
But she asks questions every week on here, and she would like to know: Are you ready for Danica Mania again? And how crazy does that get?
That was by far the craziest thing I've experienced, and the only way I can really tell you or exemplify that is Dale Jr. and myself were walking prior to the Nationwide race down pit road at driver intros, and even he went, wow, when we walked by Danica's car
Really?
and saw the crowd. And that's saying something because we dealt with crowds.
Right.
But, and we walked right by it. Nobody even looked up. And so we were like, wow, this is big. But the Danica Mania thing was unbelievable. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen. And it had reasonable people doing unreasonable things, in the way they covered it. Like people knew that maybe there were writing too much about Danica, but there just seems to be a thirst for it, or whatever. And nobody really knew how to handle it. I mean, you would be a good one to ask or to answer what you thought about it, because it was none of us had really ever experienced that before. Mm-hmm. I'd never gone to an ARCA test in the middle of December.
Yeah,
I had no plans to.
Sure.
But and there I was, and so and there was a big crowd down there for that. So, it'll be interesting to see what it's like when she comes back, because obviously I think it'll die down, but she comes back for the Loudon race, the New Hampshire deal, and that's not necessarily a big open area track, and it's pretty cramped.
Right.
So it'll be interesting to see how that works out.
Yeah, I agree. Junior 88 Country Girl would like to know if you have any crazy go-kart stories from Junior's property, or paintball, four-wheeling stories, anything like that? I've
never ridden go-karts over there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've never have. They're so competitive, man. TJ even. It's like they're all like, "Oh no, we're just gonna have a good time. We're just gonna have a good time," and then next thing you know, somebody's got their feelings hurt.
Oh,
so
okay.
I just stay out of that. I just leave it with the rental cars.
Well, feelings get hurt, I think, on iRacing sometimes too. So,
yeah.
J. Palm Jr. He says, "Hi, Mike. Enjoy you on Twitter. Seeing as Dale Jr. and TJ are into iRacing, how about you? And can you talk a little bit about that?"
Never done it. Never.
Really?
Are you kidding?
As much as they do it, they don't want you. You don't want to do it.
They've tried, but I mean, I come home, and I've got a wife and a kid, and at the moment I sat there in front of a steering wheel and started playing this, I mean, they'd be gone. I gotta pick and choose here,
Right.
So, because I would get into it. I mean, those guys don't get on it and race for 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
They're on it all night, and I've never got into it. I'm not any good at it, so it's like I know I'm not gonna be any good at it. So
What can you beat them at?
TJ of just about everything, but we have some good college football. What have we been playing recently? We were just playing some Xbox games, or baseball or basketball or something or other, and we all have a pretty good time with that.
You mostly stick to sports?
Yes, for the most part, yes.
Speaking of college sports, somebody named Lance McGrew would like to know.
Is it the real Lance McGrew?
Yeah, it is,
There's
actually.
so many imposters out there.
Yeah, everybody wants to be Lance. It's as much stress as he's under sometimes, huh? How did Alabama do in the SEC baseball tournament this past weekend?
See, this is funny that he's saying this. I did Lance a big favor on Sunday for the race. I moved his car during the race strategically to a position so he could get out.
Oh, okay.
Now,
that was kind of nice of you.
How's he going to talk? LSU beat Alabama. A fact that, by the way, I told him about. So he's talking smack about something that is information I gave him, and he's using it against me. And now I'm just going to have to
Next time
reserve my favors.
You might move his car to an unfavorable location.
Yeah, put it in the middle of the garage. Put it on pit road for him.
Another celebrity question here from Kelly Earnhardt. What has been your most stressful moment with Dale?
Oh, the most stressful moment. With Dale? It's usually when this guy, Jeff Gluck, comes up and sticks a recorder in his face. No,
That's a high stress situation.
yeah, it usually is. I think the most stressful moments with Dale, it's not really a stressful moment, but it's just we drive to Martinsville every day, go back and forth.
Yeah.
And, we'll get up in the morning and we'll drive. And, he may be over there crashed to sleep or something. And I'm just thinking, God, if I were to wreck right now, this would be on SportsCenter tonight.
That's what you're driving up the road thinking?
All the way. And I'm thinking, right now, there's a lot on the line here.
Right.
If I don't deliver the package to practice, then it's going to be on SportsCenter.
Yeah.
Or it's going to be on SB Nation.
Definitely.
And that kind of starts playing mind games with you, and I'm just like, it kind of comes stressful.
It's just kind of like you're worried about making a mistake, so you almost make a mistake sometimes. Like it's so much pressure.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. But I like to think I'm pretty cool under pressure. No, I have no idea. What do I know about pressure?
Well, about going back up the on-ramp the wrong way.
Right.
When that's just one thing we know.
I've not made that mistake. If I ever did make that mistake, I tell you one thing I did, and it was a Martinsville trip. I was driving Dale's car, his company car. Mr. Hendrick provided this company car, and I'm driving along, and TJ's in the back asleep, I'm sure, and I try to go around a car, and I completely curb it. And it's like the rims are, the wheels are more than my house.
Yeah.
They cost more than my house, and I just tore it up. and so, exactly. It's stressful.
Yeah. Kate M. Davis is one. I wonder if that's Kate Davis we know.
My cousin.
Does
My cousin.
Does Dale Jr. have a favorite piece of clothing, a hat, pair of jeans, sweater?
I have no idea.
Oh, I thought that was another inside joke type thing.
No.
No?
Does he have?
No?
I don't know the answer to that. If I knew the answer to that,
Sorry,
think I
Kate
would worry
M.
about
Davis.
myself.
Yeah.
I think it'd be.
Let's see. How about who's Jim Brockmeyer? Doug Dukart would like to know if Jim Brockmeyer was one of your idols growing up.
All these people in the room right next door? Or something?
I don't know. These questions just pop up. Is that something?
I asked questions on all their chats, and they didn't get through.
Really?
Yes. I almost texted you.
Is your name Dances with Cat?
It will be next week.
Okay.
But Jim Brockmeyer. All right. So there's a video online. It's you just Google it. It's funny. It's kind of tacky a little bit. So I don't know if it's probably not a family video.
Okay. Just Google Jim Brockmeyer on YouTube or something?
It's a fictitious character.
Okay. All right. I might do that when I get home. Let's see. Baby Momo 79 would like to know, that's a good name. Do you and Junior play practical jokes on each other?
Well, you got to think about it. It's hard. It's not fair, first of all. Yeah, I don't know if we play practical jokes. We might joke around here or there, but there's certainly a level of cautiousness that comes when he pays you.
Yeah.
So
you don't want to be.
It's not like I can pull out the big guns on him. I mean, he signs my paycheck, so it's not really fair to be. It's like playing a joke, but with one arm tied behind my back.
Right.
But
harmless jokes, kind of.
Yeah. Verbal jokes, maybe.
Speaking of working for the sport's most popular driver, J. Palm Jr. says, Mike, someone say you have the dream job. Is it, and why? Why or why not, I guess?
I do have a great job, and it is a lot of fun, and it can be, taxing at times, but to be honest with you, it's like I can't imagine doing anything else. I've got it really good. I've got it good in the fact that I've got a family now, and I'm able to still spend time with them and still, do this job. It's a lot of fun. So I definitely don't, I try not to complain because it is pretty good.
We have another question here from Queers for Gears. He's a good guy. I met him in Vegas and California. He has his own blog. I don't know if
Yeah.
If you and Junior are riding in a car somewhere, who gets to pick the radio station?
He does. It's his iPod every time. But
Oh,
he's
he
got
just
a
plugs
great
in
he's got a great playlist, so it's never a problem.
Yeah, but didn't he have like Barry Manilow on there a few years ago that he said in a press conference? He had.
Yeah, he did. You bring up a great point. Now, I say he has a great playlist, but sometimes you go, what?
Yeah.
Meatloaf is one that comes to mind. I didn't understand that one. But you look over there and he's just jamming to it. So.
Knows all the words.
Yeah, every word.
Yeah. It's good times.
Yeah.
I think people out there in Junior Nation would actually pay you if you were to take like a secret video of Junior jamming out or something like that.
I would never do that. I would never do that. How much would they pay me though? You think?
I don't know. I mean, if you guys out there we could get a bunch of money together or something.
Like the fund.
Right,
Tony
the fund.
Stewart raised.
Yeah, right. That one.
I'll just play it.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see. NASCAR Lady Fan says, what is the worst part of your job?
Ooh.
We just talked about it as your dream job, and now I'm going with the negative.
The worst part of my job. Well, it's pretty much the cliche answer, but once you get into the middle parts of the year, the travel starts to kind of wear on you a little bit. But I got it good in that area. I mean, I take races off, and it's something Junior lets me do, and since I've had little Gracie, but I don't know. It's hard to say that there's any real bad parts of the job, and I don't mean to just say that. Well, of course, Kelly is watching apparently, and so is everybody else. So what am I going to say?
Right. Well, I love my job.
I love it. I tell you, the best part is Kelly Earnhardt. And
yeah. 4X left. I guess that's 4 times left.
Yeah.
Says, I predict Junior wins a race before the chase. Which track is his best shot other than Daytona?
Daytona is. Yeah. I'm still surprised that he's not won at Martinsville yet, because that has always been like he just seems to run well there. Richmond is always a really good track for him, but I still think he can win Martinsville at any time we go there. Every time we go to Martinsville, I still think I go in there thinking we have a shot to win this race, and that would be kind of a dark horse, one that probably many people wouldn't see coming, but. I've seen him really put together some good runs at Martinsville. Really has. So, plus the Hendrick short track program is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
All right, we'll look for that.
Heard it here first.
Okay, we'll remember this. These are archived,
Oh, wait a second. It's Martinsville's part of the chase.
Oh. Yes, it
before
is.
the chase.
Yes, you didn't answer the question right.
Yeah, probably this weekend.
I didn't even call you out on it. This weekend?
Yeah.
Okay. But these are archived, so we can come back and view this again to make sure to see if any of your predictions panned out.
I wonder if we can re-record some answers in case I'm wrong on some.
We probably could. I mean, the Hammerhead people or whatever.
Hammerhead. That's what they're there for. To make us look better,
right? Let's see. NASCAR Lady Fan. She wants to know what's the least favorite thing Dale Jr. likes to do.
The least favorite thing Junior likes to do. I would have said shave his beard at earlier parts of this year.
That's obvious.
But the least favorite thing he likes to do. Wow, that one's not that there's so many. It's not that there's so many that I can't find one. It's I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna tell you something. No lie, and it's Junior's been great. Junior's great. I mean, there are times when maybe he doesn't like, doing. We ask him to do a lot of crazy stuff. Let's be real. We've got a lot of people to please. A lot of people got different ideas, and everybody's trying to think outside the box and come up with some new creative ideas and stuff. And they don't always mesh. And but he's a great sport with a lot of it. And usually I know what's going to be questionable for him and what's not. I mean, we're image conscious, and it's very important for us to keep him being authentic and not asking him to do something that he's not comfortable doing. So But for the most part, he's really good at all that stuff. And again, he's been around a long enough time. He knows and he's an owner. He's a team owner. He knows what's what has to be done and what needs to be done. So, by the way, I'm going to tell you something. We got a new deal. We're working on a project. This just reminded me. I can't even tell you what it is yet, but it's going to be cool, and you're going to even like it.
Me?
This year, yeah.
A new project that you can't even tell us about.
I can't tell you about, but it's going to be worth it.
All right. So that means I'm going to have to come back and again watch this to see what you were talking about and see if it was as cool as you said at this time.
It will be. It will be as cool. It's something we're working on right now, and we haven't told anybody about it, but it's a TV project, but it'll be cool.
TV project?
Yeah.
Heard it here first, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, well, we'll close on that, with this little scoop that you've given us.
We'll close on the thing that I didn't tell you.
Right, exactly. That's what makes you so good at your job. Thank you, everybody, for coming, and thank you, Junior Nation, for asking the questions. And make sure to come back next week to ampup88.com. Kip Wolfmeyer, he's the rear tire changer. Do you have anything that we can ask him?
Ask him how he changes tires.
All right, there you go. 12:30, June 9th. That's just next Wednesday. And again, thanks for joining us. This is where you come to amp up before the race. So we will see you next week. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, everybody.